So, what happens in our world? We are not taught when we need a piece of information and wisdom about what choices to make in our life for our highest good. All of us, most of us, are in a world where we're taught to give our power away innocently. So we look to authority figures, we look to other diets, other health programs, other spiritual gurus, or whatever we fall victim to. Um, and it's really important for us to remember that we have a well of inner wisdom inside of us. We have whatever we want to call them: psychic senses, intuitive senses, inner wisdom. They're starting to find science behind this as well, thank goodness, but that our heart, whenever we're in truth in our heart and we're tuning into wisdom of the body deeper than the brain, it registers an electromagnetic field. So they're actually finding proof of what people have been speaking about spiritually forever. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize when we start to tune into this deeper information of wisdom inside of us, it leads us to things that feel good and feel better and are in alignment with our truth. So I wanted just to touch on the four main intuitive, psychic, wise senses inside so that we can start to, it's the beginning of the year, start to spend this year allowing ourselves to, when we're making decisions, when we're deciding what's best for us, to take a second and go in instead of asking a million people for advice or what should I do? Or, I know for me a long time ago, I went to all these different doctors and all this different stuff. And again, we're not taught, slow down a second. Let me see what's going on inside. So if this is of interest to you, you might want to write these down. The four main intuitive senses are called clairvoyant, which is clear seeing. You might be, I have this one, you might be a person that dreams a lot. You have really vivid dreams. You see signs a lot. So like when you're outside, I don't know, you'll have like some synchronistic, you'll feel like a billboard speaking to your soul. Clairvoyant, clear seeing. So anything visual that's coming from deeper than your brain. Then we have clairaudient, which is the least common intuitive, psychic, wise sense, but when you have it, you know it. So it's literally hearing. It's a disembodied voice. People will say, I heard a voice say, like I was actually hearing my friend tell a story about how she met her husband, and literally it was like a movie, like elevator doors opened and he was standing there, and she said, I heard a voice say, is this not obvious enough for you? So that's clairaudient hearing, okay? But it isn't coming from the outside world, it's coming internally. Then we have claircognizant, cognition, which is thinking, but it's deeper thinking. So this one is clear knowing, because the knowing comes through the brain, right? We have a thought that we just know something. We don't necessarily know how we know. It might defy logic. Whenever I do intuitive readings with one-on-one clients, this is how my mind works. Like I close my eyes and I just start getting information. It's like a channel straight from divine intelligence to the person, and I just know it. But it's coming from such a solid, deep place. And again, if you were told when you were little, you might have this knowing inside that's really strong, but it doesn't come through what you're taught in school or your intelligence bank. Usually people who are claircognizant are the most intuitive, but they don't realize it because it's not as tangible, because it's this invisible knowing. You're like, I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. I don't feel anything in my body. But like, how did I know to do that? Just something carried my bones. It came through my head. So that's another way that we can follow, we can connect within. Then we have clairsentient is the last one. Clairsentient. You don't have to remember the names of these. It's just more you can know, oh, these are the things that I can sense into to feel my way through life. Clairsentient is clear feeling. Now, clear feeling. This is deeper than emotions. So it can kind of be a little confusing. It's sensation. So these are the people that will say, I have a gut feeling. You literally, your body is the antenna. You also might be known as an empath. You feel everything. You feel people's emotions. You walk into a room, even you walk into a Zoom room and you're like, wow, I physically feel the happiness here. I feel the sadness here. I have a gut feeling. I feel it in my chest. So you actually experience a physical sensation that guides you. So we have clairaudient, clear hearing, claircognizant, clear knowing, clairsentient, clear feeling, and clairvoyant, clear seeing. Now there's one other one that I teach in my animal communication classes, which is just sensing. You kind of get a sense of something. So you just, and that can kind of fall into the clear knowing. But it's almost like a subtle, I'm sensing into, tuning into something that I feel is right. So we all have these. They might, and usually one of us has one that's stronger than the other. So we might think we're not intuitive or psychic because we're around somebody that's like, oh, I see, whatever. And you're like, I don't have that. But you've just known to do things in your life. Everybody's highly intuitive. Again, we're just not taught this is how we are. And we also sometimes have to do some healing because there's trauma around some of our intuitive senses because we're like, that's shameful. I'm going to be rejected, abandoned, hurt, unsafe if I have these. I'm not going to be loved if I have this. People are going to think I'm crazy, but it's so crazy to me because this is like the part of our inner life that brings us the greatest riches, that dials us into truth. So whenever in your life you are trying to figure something out with the brain, know what direction to take, know what solution you need in your relationship. Start getting quiet and tuning into, do I feel something deeper than emotions? Do I sense something? Do I hear something? Do I see something? We have a minute, so I'm just going to share an exercise with you that can help. And I have tons of other exercises in this world. So if you're interested in going deeper with me, you guys can always find me at my website. It's jamiewozny.com, and we can talk about, coaching and working deeper with this. But when you watch TV and movies, which we're all doing more of these days during these wild times, or maybe you are or not, think about when you're done watching it, what sticks with you. So do you remember the sounds of the actors' voices? Do you remember the soundtrack, the music? Do you remember the way the movie made you feel? Are you just stuck with the feeling? Do you watch movies for the way that they make you feel? What's the other one we had? Do you notice the attractiveness of the actors? Do you notice the colors of, oh wow, the actors are wearing certain colors and the scenery stands out to you. You notice the way things look. And you can think about this on your vacations. When you think about vacations, are you left with the way it made you feel, the way it looked, the scenery, the sunsets, the sounds in the city? This exercise doesn't work as well for knowing. You kind of have to look back at your life and all the big decisions you've made in your life that you felt were for your highest good, even if they were difficult. You're like, how did I do that? Did I know it? Did I have dreams about it? Could I feel it in my body? Which way to go? And then you start to learn to trust this more. Okay, cool. So let's do a little meditating. Let me see if I have some music for you. You can start to get comfortable in your seat. Okay. It's a song if you need it. Beautiful. We get a little closer. So I'm going to speak a little quieter. So just, sit down, lay down, whatever's comfortable for you. Close your eyes if you haven't done so yet. And our intention today is just to get curious about this inner, very normal, very not weird wisdom that every human is made with. Just for some reason, we don't really talk about it. We're just going to open up to the curiosity in today's meditation. I wonder which gift I use the most and perhaps don't even realize it. And could I be open to connecting within myself for answers here as opposed to out there? So we're going to practice in this meditation just moving into a deep connection with ourselves. Finding safety and trust there. So let's just slow down and begin, as always, by just feeling that physical connection between your body and the space underneath of you. Letting your eyes soften and your face soften. Let the jaw relax too, and even the corners of your lips, just let them be lazy. Relaxing the corners of your lips will help relax your jaw. And as best as you can, see if you can bring yourself into your body. The way we do that is we just notice we're behind our eyes, we are in our body. Just aware of the body, and then I'm in it. Feeling my body connected under me. And breathing into the body, breathing into the belly. And releasing. Breathing into the belly. And releasing. And releasing. It's safe to come back to connect with the body, to connect with yourself. If we have situations in our lives where we learn to not trust people around us, we will learn to not trust what I'm pointing you to today. We'll learn not to trust ourselves, our wisdom, our guidance, our intuition, our psychic abilities. I know that word has so many meanings, but it's just normal to me at this point in my life. It's like I'm teaching you a new sport, like how normal it is to say, hey, this is how you hit a golf ball. You do these things. Like, this is how you get answers that are for your highest good. You tune into this other language inside. So it's okay to trust. It's okay to get to know, and it can take time. It's like learning golf, learning divine guidance. So really slow down. That's one way that we begin to access this quieter dimension of life. Is what we do every week. We just ground. We come into our bodies. We feel this connection below us. We remember that I am paying attention to the time. So right now, you just let go. And you breathe into the belly. And release. And I want you just to imagine right now that everybody you've listened to outside of yourself, innocently, everyone except for you, we're just going to put them on a chalkboard in front of you. Lots of chalk drawings, all the doctors and teachers and authority figures and parents. And sometimes their advice might be in total alignment with your own truth. So not that any of this is wrong, but that we're not respecting what we feel first. And we don't know that as children. Just put all this up on a chalkboard in front of you. And then I want you to erase all of this. And affirm, I'm pulling all of my energy back from all the places I innocently gave it away. I'm coming back to my own body. It's just you and your truth and your heart. And I choose to connect within first. I choose to get to know my Claires or Claire. And I choose to get to know the language of my soul. So just feel yourself releasing all this excess energy of feeling pulled all over the place with everybody else's wisdom. And again, it might be in alignment with yours. We tune in a little bit lower to the quiet, to the spaciousness where we can sense our sensing, our feeling, our knowing, our seeing, our hearing. Traveling a little deeper than the mind, we move into this subtle energy body. And all I want you to do is just breathe and float here in this deeper dimension that is you. Just intending to take a trip to this space. Intending to get to know yourself in a different way. Coming back to connection within first, and then externally second, if you so choose. So just breathing and softening and relaxing. Traveling a little deeper than the mind. It's like you're taking an elevator ride down to something that's always been there. You just weren't pointed in that direction, so you didn't know. Relax the eyes, let the body melt into the space underneath of you. Just breathe and soften. Just slowing down and setting the intention, I don't need to figure this out at the level of my brain. There is knowing deeper than my brain when I let it rise to the surface. I give it space because I value my thinking a little bit less. Just the soil, just this peace, just this slowing down a little bit. Create space for your wisdom to arise. And then you have the eyes for it. Wait a minute. I just sensed something. What was that? And we hold it in curiosity as we get to know its language, as it can take time. Just breathe. Stop trying so hard. Relax. All is welcome here. Truth is welcome here. It is okay to know what I know. It is okay to connect to the deeper dimensions within me first. Settling a little bit deeper within on an exploration of what we may not have seen before. I'm curious for my psychic senses to be revealed to me now. Do I see? Do I know? Do I feel? Do I hear? It's almost like we're just listening with our spiritual being, seeing what comes into our screen of awareness. Curious as to this other capacity that's here to serve us. Not really trying to figure anything out or get it right, but just resting deeper, open, curious. Breathing. Allowing the breath to move down into the belly. Letting the breath move into the whole body. All your energy comes back to you from everywhere you gave your power away. And we choose to trust and know that it is safe to connect with me, myself first. That I am wiser than I know. Just never told it. And I'm going to get curious as to this deeper dimension of wisdom within me. And now that you're more aware as you move through your day, you'll notice some things that pop their head into the spaces in between the thinking. More attuned. Breathing into the belly. Breathing into the body. Placing your awareness behind your eyes, in the body. You're aware that you are on the seat, on the mat, on the surface, in the breath. Present, resting in the unknown, letting the known to reveal itself to you from within. As you open your eyes and stretch and wiggle back to the afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you got a little closer to realizing how gifted you are. Hopefully you already knew. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care. And as I mentioned, if anybody's ever interested in going deeper into this stuff, I have lots of courses and one-on-one work. You guys can find me at my website. It's my name, jamiewozny.com. Always here for you. Life-changing stuff. Oh, yay, good, I'm glad. Yeah, it's always important to really know what we're looking for in there. All right, everybody. See you later.